Alright guys, I'm back from my New Year's break. Guys? Guys. Alright, but all jokes aside, Boruto has blessed us with another chapter this month, and just like previous chapters, this one is straight heat. But before I get into that, let's recap the last chapter. Before we get into this, please consider subscribing. It only takes a couple of seconds and it really helps me out. In chapter 5, it would come to light how Sasuke would end up sacrificing himself to save Boruto, and how Boruto would end up getting his sword. The manga would also reveal the names of the mysterious Shinju, those being Bug, Hidari, Matsuri, and Judah. Each of the Shinju would also reveal the targeted individual that they will attempt to eliminate. The manga would also reveal that the effect of omnipotence isn't working as well on Amato, a man who pays attention to substantial evidence. And the chapter would ultimately end with a reunion between Sarada, Sumire, and Boruto. But in this most recent chapter, it seems that the conflict between Boruto and the Leaf might not be so deep that change can occur. Boruto would also demonstrate just how powerful he's gotten, with a battle that the whole community has been waiting for sparking up as well. So let's not waste any more time and jump straight in. The chapter opens up to the village elders trying to convince Shikamaru just to be the 8th Hokage, considering it's been 3 years since the death of the 7th Hokage. They also remind him that it isn't a good luck to not have an acclaimed Hokage, especially to other villages. Shikamaru then cuts them both off, saying, "I'll be back to report again," and then he leaves. The manga then cuts to Shikamaru with Ino reporting in shortly after. Shikamaru would chat pointless banter while simultaneously signaling something to Ino. Ino then leaves and then performs a jutsu that will allow them to communicate without anyone eavesdropping. Shikamaru then requests a task from Ino without Ada or Kawaki knowing. The manga then cuts to Kawaki conversing with Ada. Ada explains to Kawaki the true nature of Shinju. She explains that Shinju are awakened parts of the Ten Tails that keep evolving. She then also explains that the Shinju are hunting her and Naruto. But knowing Kawaki, he was only focused on the fact that they were going after Naruto. And of course, knowing how Ada feels about Kawaki, she was openly disappointed that Kawaki showed no attention to the fact that she is also a target. Daemon then reminds Kawaki that only the three of them and Boruto know about the true fate of Naruto, and that if people see them going after Naruto, they're going to realize that Kawaki lied. Soon after, Kawaki would then see himself out. Ada then inquires on where he's going, but Kawaki responds, "Don't bother me, just peek if you want to know on your own." This would then obviously make Ada feel some type of way. It is then revealed that Mitsuki is waiting for him on the outside, and obviously Kawaki is bothered by the fact that Mitsuki is there. Mitsuki would then remind Kawaki that it is his job to keep an eye on him, and if he has any complaints, to take it up with the 8th Hokage. The manga then cuts to the previous situation with Boruto, Sumire, and Sarada. It is apparent after Sarada jumped into the arms of Boruto that things are awkward. Sumire realizing this, she breaks the silence by telling Boruto that after 3 years she's glad that Boruto is looking well. Boruto would then reciprocate her feelings. Boruto would then also let Sarada know that he's glad she's doing well, and that he was surprised and didn't expect her to jump into his arms that way. Sarada then responds saying she only did that because she was worried. Sumire then questions Boruto if he's alright being in the village. Boruto then reminds her that it's fine as long as he hides his chakra, and that the only thing he's worried about is Kawaki sensing him. Boruto then stated that he only came to relay to Sarada the fate of Sasuke. Sarada being worried, she would then question the state of him. Boruto then reveals that Sasuke has been absorbed into the Ten Tails. The manga then cuts to Kawaki and Mitsuki. Kawaki is now aware of Boruto's position. We then see a snake coming out of Mitsuki's sleeve, but the manga then cuts back to the previous situation. Boruto is then explaining to Sarada that Sasuke was defeated because of him, and that in the past, if the Ten Tails eats an Otsutsuki, they will turn into a divine tree, but now they are skipping that whole process and going straight to a cognitive Shinju. The manga then cuts to Mitsuki informing Shikamaru that Boruto is in the village. Shikamaru would then deduce that since Boruto isn't being detected by the village's detection team, he can hide his chakra just like Kawaki. Shikamaru then questions Mitsuki on the state of Kawaki. Mitsuki then states, "I'll go to the site myself." Boruto can feel Kawaki's chakra too. If he comes close, he will notice it. Then it is revealed that Mitsuki knocked Kawaki unconscious. The manga then cuts back to Boruto. He states that he isn't sure but believes that Code's chakra is affecting the evolution of the Clawgram. He also states that Code isn't an Otsutsuki, but he has a karma mark from Ishiki. That itself is an aspect of an Otsutsuki. He also states, it's not surprising if it had an influence on their evolution. Boruto is then cut off by Shikamaru, who is contacting him through Ino's jutsu. He then eases Boruto by telling him the jutsu isn't through the detection team and that it's off record. Boruto then questions Shikamaru on if it's okay for him to be doing this, considering he's the Hokage now. Shikamaru then reveals that it's just temporary, he's not actually the Hokage. Boruto then cuts him off and says that's not what he's worried about. He's worried if he can trust Shikamaru or not. Shikamaru then says, just hush and move from here. There's someone coming for you. Boruto is then apprehended by a snake out of nowhere. Boruto then flicks his sword out of the sheath and then performs flying Raijin to teleport to it and grab the sword. The manga then pans to a different angle where it is revealed to be Mitsuki in snake stage mode. Mitsuki then states, "We finally meet Boruto. I've been waiting for this moment." Sarada then tells Mitsuki to wait and to just listen. Mitsuki then cuts her off and says he can't afford to be soft and she needs to move. Mitsuki then launches snakes at Boruto, with Boruto responding by coating his sword in purple lightning and cutting all of them. Mitsuki then performs Hidden Shadow Snake and plunges his hands into the ground. Snakes are launched from the ground as a result. Boruto then jumps into the air to avoid the attack. Boruto then sheathes the sword and then states, "I promise I'll save my master and all the people who turn into trees." Then attempts to say one more thing but stops himself. He then flies away. Boruto then ridicules Shikamaru, stating, "If you had business with me, you should have ordered him away so we didn't get interrupted." Shikamaru then says, "The village and the Land of Fire as a whole has set a target on you and they feel they have to eliminate you." He also states, as the Hokage, he can't help him publicity wise, but he can give him power through other means. Boruto then calls him out, stating that what he said is nonsense. Shikamaru then cuts Boruto off and says, "Aren't you actually Uzumaki Boruto?" Shikamaru, not being able to believe he actually said the things that he said, he states he can't believe the fact that he is under a genjutsu, but after him hearing the conversation Sumire had with Amato, it sounds more believable. But if they could swap the roles with Kawaki and Boruto, they could actually reach a point of full coherence. Ino being under the genjutsu Ada set, she obviously thinks that Shikamaru is spouting nonsense. Shikamaru then states to Boruto, "I want to hear your answer." Boruto then lands in the woods and asks Shikamaru how long the conversation will last. But while Shikamaru is talking, Boruto is interrupted by an enraged Mitsuki, and the chapter ends with Boruto facing off with Mitsuki. After reading this chapter, I was surprised. I had almost forgotten how smart Shikamaru is. If anything, it makes sense that he was able to figure out the true identity of Boruto. I mean, if anybody just put the pieces together, you would see that there is a ton of inconsistencies. And just off the conversation that Amato had with Sumire, Shikamaru was able to deduce that Boruto is actually Naruto's son. Seeing how this is playing out, I definitely can't wait for the future chapters. Shikamaru being a double agent would be very interesting. Also, I know that I'm not the only one who noticed how Ino is acting, right? She might rat out Shikamaru, creating more conflict. But let's not skip over the fact that Boruto was able to use Purple Lightning, a jutsu that only Kakashi and Sasuke are able to use. This could possibly be a way to bring Kakashi back into the story. Maybe not, maybe I'm reaching, but I think so. But I could most definitely see Sasuke seeking help from Kakashi when they fled the village, and knowing Kakashi, I feel that he would hear Sasuke out and side with them after understanding the situation. If this is the case, I would love to see Kakashi back in the story for sure. Also, it seems that Boruto has mastered the power of flight that Otsutsuki's have, to some degree. This definitely moves him up on the power scale even more. With that being said, if you disagreed or agreed with anything I said in this video, don't be afraid to comment down below. I know I've been gone for a while, but I took just a little break because I was transitioning back into school after my Christmas break. But I'm definitely back now. I'm definitely trying to be more consistent. And yeah, thank you for watching. I'm out.